Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream on the channel. I hope we are well. A lot to go through this game week, and it's actually very exciting with all the news we got last night. I'm going to run through a graphic and we'll try and make it as clear as possible for those that are still a bit unsure. I'm sure I'm not the only content creator that you watch, but I'll try to be as clear as possible. So it's going to be a very fun game week this week and next week. As you know, we have a double in this game week for Liverpool and Everton, which I'm sure a lot of people are doubled up on. I'll show you what I'm going to do with my team. I'm fairly well set up and it's actually worked in my favour. I was fairly worried going into game week 24, which it was last week, because I didn't think I was well set up and I thought I had the same team as everyone. But now that this double has come along in 25, I think I'm really well set up for the future. So I've got 3 free transfers. I'll show you my team. We'll go through a graphic from Focal and we'll see who's in chat. So if you're in chat, let me know. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me on this morning, and it's going to be another amazing stream as usual. So let me quickly pull up chat and see who we got in here. Good to see you, Keith. We got Franok, Praful, Sydney, Yusuf, JP Lloyd. Let me quickly bring up my team now. And also we've got Maliki in here. So good to see you, Maliki. So, oh, there's me. What's the first thing I should bring up? I think the first thing we should discuss, again, you're probably after hearing it from all the other streamers, but I want you to know how I feel about it. Maybe give you a different perspective on it. And I'm sure still not very clear for a lot of managers. So we got Shamil also in here. We got Reece Clay. And we've got Kaka. So as you can see, I've got this graphic in front of you from FPL Focal. Thank you to Oscar for tweeting this. But essentially, what we've got here is the percentage outcomes of each double game week in 25 and the likelihood of them. So, of course, if Spurs progress in the Carabao Cup and reach the final by beating Liverpool, they will have a double with with United at home and Fulham away. And Fulham will also double with Forest at home and Tottenham at home. If Arsenal knock out Newcastle, Arsenal are currently 2-0 down versus Newcastle, so it's very unlikely, but if they manage to claw back that result, Chelsea and Arsenal will double, and 2 really nice fixtures for Arsenal in my opinion, even though that Leicester game is away. And then the most likely chance is if Liverpool knock out Spurs, which is a 62% chance of happening. You wouldn't be surprised to see Liverpool turn it around at Spurs, even though it is 1-0 at Anfield. Spurs really struggle at Anfield. But what is interesting, and we'll speak about it, is Tottenham might have a player or 2 back. Again, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but definitely something to keep an eye on. But yeah, Villa will have a decent double with Ipswich at home and Liverpool at home. And Liverpool will, of course, have Wolves at home and Villa away, which is, in my opinion, a better double than that game week 24 double with Bournemouth away and Everton away. So, very interesting how we've been struck by this overnight. And I know a lot of people are actually quite upset because a lot of people would have done transfers to try catch some price rises. Okay, that is a lot of people asking what I'm doing with my own team. Let me bring you to my team real quick. What are we doing? Assistant manager is quote-unquote pending. Let me quickly bore you with my team last week. 72 points last week, a nice little green arrow. Oh shit, my camera's gone. Sorry guys. We're getting too excited. Give me 1 sec, I'll set you back up. I think we should be good now. Yes, so a really nice green arrow last week brought us to 325k. We're struggling a small bit this season, lads, I'm not going to lie. But we still have our triple captain to use, which will bring us back in around 200k places, in my opinion. Now, let me zoom in real quick now that the camera is fixed. 72 points last week. Again, like I said, 325k. And this week, we have a really nice team. So we have got, how many? We've got currently 4 doublers in the team, and I plan on bringing in Pickford right now. I've got 3 free transfers to do and 0 in the bank. The assistant managership, so I had the triple captainship active until last night. I was positive I was going to activate it, but unfortunately, by the landscape of how it is now set up, it does not make sense. And I'll go to this graphic real quick on FPL Team. By the way, if you don't use FPL Team, do me a favor and use it. It is by far the best fixture ticker, and it has a projected fixture planner, so the most likely outcomes. So with this double now in place for Liverpool and potentially Villa as well, and Everton of course, it makes no sense for me not to use the assistant manager chip on David Moyes. Again, if I go back to my own team, I'm currently Liverpooled out of doing Arne Slot. But for me, I have no issue actually using it on David Moyes instead. And the reason for that is because I'd rather hold on to a Gakpo, which I know a lot of people are getting rid of, which I actually don't agree with. And moving on to David Moyes next week to potentially an upset in Arne Slot, or not Arne Slot, sorry, in Ange Postecoglou, or even Unai Emery. So, again, I have 0 in the bank, and I'm Liverpooled out of it. I'm not bringing in Arne Slot, that's for sure. The manager I'm going to bring in is David Moyes. It's just whether or not, or it's how I open up the funds to get him. So right now, again, if I go up to the transfers page, I've got 0 in the bank and I have no manager in place. So I have to make space one way or another. I want a 5th double game weeker, and Raya is a small bit of a doubt. So it is a no-brainer for me to open up 0.4 in the bank and bring in Pickford. Again, very, very fortunate that so far this season I've been fairly reserved in making early transfers, even though it's hurt my team value. And again, maybe that is why a small bit why I've been slacking, because my team value is a small bit less than other managers. But again, it's worked out in my favour this week. So like I said, with the high percent chance of Villa having a double game week next week, 62% chance. Again, I don't know if that's the best outcome for me. For me, it's a double-edged sword. If Spurs progress, as a Spurs fan, I'm absolutely delighted. And I get to do something a bit different and play the assistant manager chip on Ange Postecoglou. And I think that would be so exciting, with Fulham being 5 places above Spurs and United potentially being above Spurs by 5 places come this fixture. But on the likelihood of that Villa, of course, double, I have in place Rodgers and Watkins, and I think a lot of people will be bringing in Watkins next week. The guy I don't, of course, own is Isaac, and he could really, really hurt me this week. But I think this Wolves fixture is really good for Watkins, and if I can get away with it another week where Isaac doesn't do too much and Watkins does well this week, people will be scrambling to bring in Watkins next week. So again, that saves me another transfer. If Liverpool don't progress, that means they don't double in 25. And that means they have to move on Arne Slot, and that will be another transfer for managers to make. So the best case scenario for me is that Liverpool actually don't progress, I think. And that way I can bring in Ange Postecoglou, which I have to make a transfer on that manager anyway. So I think I'm actually fairly well set up, and an upset would probably go in my favour in comparison to Watkins Dublin. And it's also good to note, Newcastle won't have a double in 25, but they will blank in 29 unless the fixtures somehow fall differently, which I cannot see. So, good to know. So, let me actually make this Pickford move real quick. Oh shit, I can't because I need to wait for an assistant manager. So basically the plan is to move on Eze. This is the other move I'm looking to make, and it will make sense in a second. So move on Eze for Dongo. Let me quickly put him in place. Dango, why did I say Dongo? And that saves me 2 million in the bank. So I can go to any manager in the game other than Arne Slot, of course, because I'm already triple Liverpool out of it. But the man I'm looking to bring in this game week is, of course, David Moyes. Now, the reason for this is, of course, the double game week for Everton. You're hoping for an upset. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty of how we can gain points in this week, other than the fact that we need a nice win with Leicester at home and some sort of result out of Liverpool. That's just the best way to look at it. Why this looks so good for me is because I'll have exactly 1.5 in the bank next game week. And let me just bring up FPL team real quick. Again, sorry if we're going a bit fast, but there's a lot to get through. So I have here the moves I would have done. So Dango in, Pickford in, David Moyes in, 1.5 million in the bank, and let me show you next game week. So game week 25, I'll have 2 free transfers, and I'll have 1.5 million in the bank to do anything I want. Let's say in theory, best case scenario for my team. Again, right here is showing that Villa are doubling, but Villa won't double if Spurs progress in the cup, and Ange Postecoglou will, let's say in theory, have a double game week versus United and Fulham. I'll have enough funds in the bank to bring him in, and 0.9 in the bank. Again, let's just say Villa aren't doubling. And that way, I have Dango versus Southampton away, which is a deadly fixture. And also, I'll have 0.9 in the bank to go to a Fulham midfielder, Fulham defender, or a Spurs asset if we are doubling. Let's say that scenario doesn't happen, and the other scenario where I get more fixtures and Villa double, that way I will have to bring in Unai Emery. And bringing in Emery is not an issue at all. Ipswich at home, which I think they can definitely get a result in, and Liverpool, who are 5 places above Villa. This is also a very, very, very nice scenario for my own team. And it actually looks very, very good on paper. So that way I'll have triple Villa, triple Liverpool, and let's say there is potentially an upset in that Newcastle-Arsenal game, well then Palmer and Gabriel will also double, but I don't see that happening. In this situation, I think I have the luxury of actually moving on Anthony Gordon to a single game weeker and playing him instead of João Pedro. Other than that, I think I can set my team up well for the many more fixtures that are to be changed coming in the future and potentially rolling. So that is the plan, guys. If you disagree with it or you think there is a better way to use my transfers, let me know. Or if you've plenty of questions, and I'll try to get back to all of them, but I hope that is clear. There is a lot of confusion about, how you want to play this, or whether taking a hit for Gakpo out and bringing in Arne Slot is the play. For me, if you have triple Liverpool in place, again, it was a big decision for me not to use a triple captain, but it does not make sense to bring out a Gakpo to an NDI and potentially bringing in Arne Slot for me. Again, I do think there is a lot of value in bringing in a Slot, and it is a safe play. But as a manager, for me, anyone that knows me, for this time I've been streaming for nearly 2 years now, what makes sense for me to do is be ballsy and back David Moyes, who do look a lot better since he's come in charge, and get a result at Leicester at home and potentially see an upset in Liverpool at home. Again, I'm not expecting an upset at Liverpool at home. But then again, you go into next game week with Unai Emery guaranteed, if not an Ange Postecoglou, which I would love to do, and it's exciting. So I would much prefer to do something a bit more risky, a bit more fun. It just embodies who I am as a manager, and I think I'm well set up for it. Again, we're currently 325k in the world. I think a lot of managers wouldn't have seen what happened last night. Again, you have to remember, on Twitter, look, there is a big bubble of us. I want to say there's 100k, 150k people on Twitter who are quote-unquote active. Again, it could be 1 million plus, but when I see interactions on tweets from the bigger accounts, that's what I look at. And I try to think of how many people would have been able to see the strategy from content creators. And don't get me wrong, I think majority will be activating the system manager chip this week. And it is a bit annoying how the fixtures have fallen. But again, I'm doing something a bit different with bringing in Moyes. Other people are using Arne Slot. Some people are tripled out of Liverpool and they'll want to bring in Unai Emery next week, or some people might even be considering a Postecoglou. But it is a possibility. It's the magic of the cup. Spurs could progress, and I'm more than happy to have double or triple Villa next week if that doesn't happen. So I think on the flip side, if that doesn't happen and Villa don't double next week, I'm in a nice position where managers won't want to bring in Ollie Watkins with Ipswich at home, which is a deadly fixture. So well set up, lads. Get your questions in chat. On that note, David West has become a member of A Cup of Chai. Welcome to the team, David. It's good to have you. He says he's Team Moisey, and we're absolutely starting a bandwagon over here. And I hope you're here to join me. Again, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I just think it is a bit of fun, and there is a good chance of upset. When I say upset, I mean a draw. I don't think Everton are going to get more than a draw versus Liverpool. I mean, I'll be shocked. And if that does happen, we are on for some monster haul for David Moyes. And by the way, I can't believe what I'm looking at on my screen. It is a bit mad. But again, like I said, one other thing to note is the triple captain. There is a bit of confusion on the triple captaincy. A few people asking me, why not just triple captain? That is the potential of, 60 points if Salah does really well. But it's not 60 points. If Salah had got a 20-point haul in the double game week with Bournemouth and Everton, let's say he gets a 10 and a 10, you're actually only making up 20 points with that chip, because everyone's captain him anyway, so everyone has 40 points, and then triple, so you would have got 60. So it's 20-point gain. If David Moyes gets a draw versus Liverpool, that's almost 16, 20 points in itself. So the system managership is way, 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 way more powerful. And you have to remember, we're doing it for 5 fixtures, not 1, or a double game week. So a system managership has the potential to give you 40 to 60 points easily on its own. And there's so much value in it. And that's why I can't play my triple captain on Mohamed Salah personally. Now, there will be opportunity to play the chip elsewhere on Mohamed Salah. If not Salah, maybe even Erling Haaland down the line. Again, I'm not quite sure. If we look at the graph from Planet FPL, what a legend, by the way. He makes life so easy for us. But we look at some of the potential doubles coming later down the line. And we do have one for Liverpool in 33. Again, it is the most likely outcome if they do progress in the Cup. With Leicester and Tottenham, I think we'll all be looking at that. If not, you have Man City with Everton and Villa. Now, a lot of people will also have their bench boost to play. We'll also have wildcard. We'll have free hit, which I'm sure a lot of us will be doing in 29 with the blank game week coming up. Again, just to note, if Villa do double in 25, and so do Liverpool, they will blank in 29. That is the important thing. So that will leave Palace, Villa, Liverpool and Newcastle will have blank in 29. And as you can imagine, majority of people have Isaac, triple Liverpool right now. I myself have double Villa. So even though right now it would look really good if Liverpool progress and Villa double for me in this game week 25, but if they don't, I'll have them for the double, or I'll have them for the blank in 29. So I think if Villa do progress, I will end up using my free hit in 29, because I'll have to make 5 transfers, and I've also got Eze Manoz, so that's 7 transfers to try make, and I don't know if that's worth doing. I think I'd rather play the free hit and structure my team a bit better. Again, if I do free hit in 29, it is good to know, because I can do something a bit different and potentially triple up on the likes of City with Haaland. Let's just say a De Bruyne / Foden. I could double up on United with that Leicester fixture. Nottingham Forest have a really good fixture. Players like Matheus Cunha for Wolves with that fixture Southampton. Sorry, I was reading the wrong line there for what's called Forest. But you get what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so just looking down the line, it looks quite well. And I have a plan in place, and I'm almost positive I'm going to follow through on it. And I'm so sorry for not getting to your questions in chat, but let's get to it. TC in chat says, if you had your triple captain remaining, would you play it? I do have my triple captain, TC, that's good to know. Would I play it in 24, or would you play the assistant manager? I would easily play the assistant manager. Let me do a poll. I want to do a poll real quick. Are you using a chip? I'm going to assume the answer is yes. So is it Assman? Is it TC? Or is it none? Let me quickly fire up that poll. And we'll get to your questions. Play 2, bench 2 of Robinson, Hall, Vandenberg, Greaves. I wouldn't be playing Greaves, and I wouldn't be playing Vandenberg. I think it would just be Robinson and Hall for me. Juan Miguel says, hi Chai, already 3 Liverpool, no free transfer. Should I go Pickford for Alisson and then get Moyes with a -4? why not just hold on to? Oh, you need to free up money. Pickford for Alisson. That is tough, Miguel. I think that is the play though. I think you have to play the assistant manager this chip, or you need to play some sort of chip. You need to have a plan in place, because if you don't, you're going to be left in the dust. 2 seconds, guys. I just need to clear my throat. But yeah, it's going to be a very exciting week. And I'm looking forward to it. Bench Rodgers or Martinelli? I would be benching Martinelli. How traumatic would it be if Liverpool and Newcastle both don't make it through? You know what? I would low-key love that. If that happens, I'll have Gabriel Dublin. People with Arne Slot will have to move him on anyway to an Emery. Or not an Emery, because he won't be Dublin, but to a Postecoglou. I think it'd actually shake things up and make things exciting. Good morning, Childress. Come on, you Spurs, says Derek O'Reilly. Cheers, Derek. Sammy Hall says, good to see you, Chai. You think Dango keeps his place if Bournemouth get a new striker this window? I think so, Sammy. This striker will take a second to take his place into this Bournemouth team. Dango has been so good throughout the season. And another thing is, form. And also, he's my 8th attacker. If I do bring him in, I have no issue with benching him on a weekly basis, personally. Who's winning the Super Bowl, Shy? Maliki, there's too much to discuss here. We can't go on to a different sport. Sicko says, which Liverpool player other than Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold would you recommend? I would say if it's not Arne Slot, the guy you want to bring in is Alisson or Gakpo. I think Alisson for the minutes, and Gakpo, who is not going to get all 4 games in the next 2 game weeks. It's good to note. But I think Gakpo is still the flavour for me. Sorry, I just joined. Why Moyes and not Slot? So Moyes is in for me because I'm tripled out of Liverpool. That's the first thing to know. The second thing is 0.5, and I can make that up, but it's just really exciting to do it on Moyes, and I do think there's so much value in it. Next week I'll be moving them on regardless of the outcome of Liverpool, and honestly I hope it's Ange Postecoglou. So will Liverpool double again? So George, again, just to reiterate on anyone that's just joining us, Liverpool will double again if they progress in the Carabao Cup versus Spurs. They will not double if Spurs beat them. So yes, the answer is yes, they probably will double. How's it going, Charlie? Chewy FPL, my guy, good to see you in chat. I hope you are well. Should I do Mateta to Watkins right now? I would say I would hold off on any of the guys that you're expecting to double next week if it's not the Liverpool guys. You just want to have as much flexibility as possible to bring in, let's just say, a Watkins if it comes to it. If not Watkins, maybe potentially a Son or a Richarlison if it comes to it. Even though he's potentially injured. But you want to hold on to as much as you can if you're not bringing in Everton. And guys, I think I am almost certain on those moves that I'm talking about. Good to see 80% of you in chat are doing assistant manager chip. For you that are not using a chip this week, I hope you're scared for your life. It's going to be a crazy swing this week. And essentially, it is David Moyes versus Arne Slot in terms of assistant manager this week. Of course, with Liverpool playing Everton. You probably would expect Liverpool to beat Bournemouth anyway. And Everton to hopefully beat Leicester. I can't even say that's a shorty. But what was I saying? Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and click the confirm button on these transfers. Again, I will be benching Dango this game week. It's just a little placeholder for David Moyes for the time being. And for Ange Postecoglou or Unai Emery if I bring him in next week. Yeah, do me a favor, says Conclasher, and hit that like button for me. Thank you for joining me. We've got 160 people in here. It's a pleasure to have you all. Robert Sahari says, morning, Shy. Moyes and then Fulham or Villa manager is my thinking. Yeah, I love the idea of hopefully bringing in Unai Emery. I think that is exciting with that Ipswich at home. Champions Collide says, morning, Shy, bro. Can you go over quickly the returns that potential for the assistant manager chip, please? You know what? I don't even want to use my brain to try think of it. I want to try bring up a graphic. I want to see if Oscar quickly has one about how you can get points. That's probably the best way to look at it. It's just there's so many permutations that without a graphic, it probably won't make sense for me to read it out to you. Let me quickly find something, guys. 2 seconds. You know who definitely has one? Janny. Let me bring up Janny, and we'll discuss it on stream. I know it is so confusing. Janny Gitici. 1 second, guys. He for sure has some sort of point outcome. I think this is probably an important note. So, let's just say, actually, no, that's not even worth explaining because I need the full graph. 2 seconds. We'll keep scrolling. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Apologies. Hello Choi, says FPL Doctor. Yesterday was one of the craziest days in FPL in a while. On that note, I'm glad I kept my free transfers with 3 times, so I'm looking to do Trent to Mikalenko to fund slot. Doctor, any love for holding on to Trent and bringing in Moyes? That's the first thing I'd ask you. Okay. So, where do we start? So 6 points for a win, 3 points for a draw, 1 point for a goal, and 2 points for a clean sheet. 10 bonus achieved for beating a team 5 places above you, so David Moyes. 5 bonus achieved for drawing with a team, so again, David Moyes. So this would be the baseline for Arne Slot, which would be 6 points for a win, 3 points for a draw, 1 point for a goal. So let's say Liverpool win 4-0. So win 6 points, 4 goals, 4 points extra, so 10 points, and a clean sheet, 2 points, so 12. Let's say David Moyes gets a draw. So 1-1 draw. 1 goal, 3 for a draw, 5 bonus, so 9. So yeah, that's basically it. There's not much else to it other than the fact that again, you just need to account for this bonus, and it's good to note that it goes based on the start of the game week. So let's say come the second fixture that the table has changed. If at the start of the game week the fixtures were 5 places gap, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how that changes. I think that will be important if Spurs do manage to get a win and we progress in the second round, because we will play Fulham. But yeah, no, we don't need to worry about that right now. But yeah, let's look at if some of the options for Moyes in 24 with Liverpool. Again, it looks really well in my opinion. A lot of people will be looking at Fulham, Marco Silva, with that double in 25. That possible double. This gives me a headache, says Zina. All you need to know is that if you're playing the system manager, you're in a good place. Because the double-double just means, regardless of the outcome in this first game week, you will have to move on David Moyes anyway next week and hope that Unai Emery does something if Liverpool progress. And if he doesn't, you'll probably look to hold on to Arne Slot with the double. Again, it is a really nice double for Slot. But yeah, hope this graph is a bit easier to read off. Again, that graph is off Gianni Patici, so shout out Gianni. Let me do a quick scroll on Twitter. Again, I'll try to get to back as many questions as I can, and we'll go through a Rob T graphic real quick, like we do in every single stream. But let me get to King of Mandalore. He says, much love from Claire Choi. Good to see somebody Irish in here. He says, only 0.2 in the bank, so I need to take a hit to activate the assistant managership regardless. Sell Trent for Kirkes / Digne and get Slot, or Gordon to Kluivert and get Moyes. I don't agree with getting rid of Trent for a double-double. Doesn't make sense to me. I think the play is, again, it's so much more ballsy, but Gordon to Kluivert and get Moyes. I think there is a lot in getting Slot. I agree with it, and Slot probably will outperform Trent. But we know how good Trent can be. Again, I don't expect him to get 360 minutes in the double-double, but getting rid of Trent doesn't make sense for a double-double, and that's the way I have to look at it. Is Enjoy, Iliman Enjoy, a rogue captaincy shout? Yes, he is. I'm just going to be straight up. So in front of you, I've got the projected goal scorers for game week 24. Salah leading the line with 1.21 in this game week, which is exponentially high. I can only imagine it's going to be higher next game week. Gakpo in second with 0.73. Cole Palmer 0.72 with that lovely West Ham at home fixture. Isaac, of course, who can hurt me with that Fulham at home fixture. Ndiaye, who was actually somehow 6th on this list, which I think is interesting because I don't believe in him as an asset. I think you're really, really banking for that Leicester at home fixture. Again, I did bring in David Moyes, so these are some of the players that I'm banking on as well myself by bringing in Moyes. What I think is interesting is next is Mbeumo, which no shock there with Tottenham being useless. Beto, which again he's the one I'd be staying clear of, and the next is Ollie Watkins with Wolves away, which is really interesting. I really like that. As myself owning Ollie Watkins. Let's look at the extended version of this graphic. We'll zoom in a small bit so you can see. But we've also got players like Erling Haaland, very, very low on the list. We've got Son, who's at 0.42, and Richarlison, not very appetizing. We've got other double game week players like Szoboszlai and McAllister, who are also very low. So I think, of course, your best three for this double are Salah, Gakpo, Trent, in my opinion, who obviously won't feature on this projected goal list, but I do think they're the best ones in my opinion. Is there any other graphic we could go to? No. Okay. Let's do a little scroll on Twitter. And then we'll make the moves for my team. Let's just see what other managers are doing, because I know a lot of people are confused. And I'm sure I'm not the only content creator that you're watching. So it's good to see and check in what other guys are doing. So, one of my favorite managers, for you that don't know, I'm not the only manager you listen to, because why would you only listen to me? But one of my friends is FPL Fran. He's doing DCL set and die, Odegaard to Mbeumo, and a -4. He's one that I think went early this game week, which was quite unfortunate. But he is bringing in David Moyes, and I love to see that. My boy is also chasing the upside in David Moyes. You know, what's really interesting is he's, of course, tripled out of the Liverpool as well. He doesn't see it worth taking a hit to get rid of any of the Liverpool guys. And he doesn't have any other Everton other than Enjoy and Moyes. Of course, I'll be bringing in Pickford. I already have Mikalenko, and I'll have Moyes. So I'll be tripled up. Good to see you, Red Devil, in chat. Alright, I think I'm going to click the green light on this transfer of bringing in Pickford, Moyes, and Dango for Eze. Now Eze is out, so I think the move for me is get rid of Eze. I need to bring in, I need to make up funds for Moyes, and I want the door to be open to potentially bring in a Unai Emery or a Postecoglou next game week. So that's why I'm not doing a João Pedro to an Ndiaye. And if I were to do that, of course, I would be tripled out at Everton as well. So I think the only thing I could look at is whether or not I want to move on. If I want to bring in Dango or I want to bring in someone else. Again, it kind of has to be around. I have to make 1.1 free in the bank if I want to bring in Postecoglou. So what is that? 0.6 I need left over, because that'll have enough perfectly for Postecoglou, who's 1.1. So if I leave 0.6, that is 5.9 to play around with. So if I quickly bring up players for 5.9 and we look at this list, we have Cliver, who is on fire. I feel like I want to have a player I can bench a bit more. So that for me, that is Dango. But what is in the back of my mind is the fact that Fulham have the potential to double. And Iwobi is there. We also have Madueke on the off chance that Arsenal progress. Anyone else that stands out? Smith Rowe maybe. But yeah, for me, Dango is definitely the play. And if I go bring up FPL team again, sorry I'm not answering so many of your questions in chat. There's just so much to go through. But if I bring in Dango, this is how I'll be set up. And potentially move on Gordon depending on who doubles in this game week. And then in 26, I will have Dango in place with Wolves at home. Or I can play Gordon, of course, and bench Rodgers. So I do have way more options. Now, my team in 26 doesn't look so good. And again, I think I will look to potentially move on Emery again for this fixture in 26. We won't have a double in 26. And I'll potentially be looking to move it on to someone else. So it's going to be really interesting who I'm feeling in this game week. Again, I think I will look to try chase some upside. But yeah, that's why Ouattara Dango is on my mind. And let me quickly bring this back up. We have 57 minutes until the deadline, by the way. And let me get to chat real quick. Sorry, let me actually put in Dango back in here because this looks so unaesthetic. It's so weird seeing a Christmas tree. The Christmas tree is finally complete with the system manager coming in. It also, yeah, actually, let me stop talking on that shape. Update your app, says Genius. I need to click confirm. I want to quickly weigh up my options. If there's any other options for my team, be sure to stick it in chat. Who should I start? Hall or Gabriel or Greaves? So I actually have a benching headache this week, and I didn't think about it until I saw Twitter. Gabriel or Minoz? I think it's Minoz, personally. Rodgers or Murphy? Bench one. I'll be benching Jacob Murphy. What country are you from? I'm from Ireland. Shame nobody will own Decore for his haul. Kieran, I was looking at Decore, man. And again, I can't do it because I'm already on the triple Everton buzz. Let me know what you're doing, Kieran, with your assistant manager chip. But Decore's numbers have just been shocking. Now, again, somewhere in the back of my mind was how good he was last season, Kieran. I haven't forgot about that. But again, I just don't know his role, really. So I think I'd prefer not to and go double Everton defence. Sounds stupid. But by the way, if Everton get one clean sheet, I'll be happy. Again, one clean sheet means minimum 8 points for Pickford, 8 points for Mikalenko, and whatever points for David Moyes. I don't even want to think about it. I think I'll cry. That's like 30 points in its own. Discomfort is someone who's owned Decore for ages last season. I'm staying away from him. Chewy, I know the type of manager he is, and I remember him owning them. I'm not Everton except Moyes. That's fair, Kieran. Liam says, any better long-term options than Hoisin for 4.8? Long-term options, I would say probably still Daniel Munoz. Again, I would hold off on doing sideways transfers until I saw the fixtures for Villa or potentially Fulham. You know, of course, you'd want a Robinson if he doubles. You might want a Digne if Villa double next game week. So I think I would prefer to keep the gate open on transfers and avoid bringing in single game week players unless they open the door for you in bringing in, let's just say, another Everton double or a Liverpool double, or even, of course, a David Moyes or an Ange Postecoglou, an Arne Slot. Yeah, it sounds like I'm absolutely waffling this stream, but there's just so much content and it's great. Usually I'm stuck on answering questions, which is never a bad thing, but I can just waffle freely on the content that we have in front of us. I need Hoisin for a slot. I have Robinson and Minoz. Then Liam, Hoisin is the answer. I think he is quite good. Mikalenko in for Young. No, I don't agree with that at all. Okay, let's go ahead and click that button. I want to see before I click that button. I know I keep holding off, but just to make sure... There's so much going on that I want to see what other managers are doing. I'm a bit nosy. This would be a good thing to go off. What is a model doing? So, Spiros' model, who I do love, is actually taking out Alisson for Pickford and bringing in Ndiaye to fit in Arne Slot, and it's leaving Eze on the bench. Now, when I look at my own team, I mean, not that it's worrying, but I have a similar team to this type of structure. And it's quite interesting that it's actually leaving Eze on the bench and prefers to bring in Ndiaye and Pickford rather than playing it on Moyes. That is quite interesting. And that's why I wanted to scroll on Twitter, just to see what other type of models or really good managers are doing. Another thing to note is we're going to touch on Spurs. Our transfer window maybe how I feel about the Carabao Cup fixture. We love a cheeky rant, so if you don't want to hear that rant, be sure to leave before I go on about us. What is Matt Law saying? Matt Law, as they wait to find out about Fikayo Tomori from AC Milan, Tottenham have considered a late move for Axel Lasasi. Don't let Axel Lasasi be our replacement for Tomori. No. That can't be the case. Don't do that to me, man. The only thing I can think of is potentially bringing in Axel Lasasi would leave the door open. Actually, that's bullshit. I'm not even going to try. I was going to say we might bring in a better attacker, but that's just not the case at all. Anyway, let's make these moves, shall we? Early team news, Moyes is injured. Alright, let's click confirm on these transfers. 1.5 million in the bank, one free transfer. Otaro Dango in. Let me just quickly scroll through. Again, small bit knee-jerky with the 21-point haul last week. But Bournemouth just looked that good. I need a guy for cheap that enables me to use the triple game week on David Moyes. And he's got really nice fixtures in Southampton away and Wolves at home. That's it. I'm not going to overthink it. And there will be weeks where I bench Dango. Is there anyone else I can bring in for 5.9? I can bring in Cliver, who's on penalties. 5.8. Is Cliver to move and bench him? It's poll time. Cliver or Dango? I can do both. Who are we feeling? Cliver. It is very knee-jerky to bring in Dango. Who you prefer? Justin Cliver or Dango? Of course, Cliver has been doing it for weeks now, but the price rise has kind of put me off. Which don't make sense because if he's the better option, then he's the better option. I'll drive the Sassy to the Tottenham Stadium myself, says Chewy FPL. Oh my god. Bench one of Colwell, Gabriel Munoz. I'll be benching Colwell. Coopsy says, should I bring in João Pedro to Watkins? He'll probably double next game week, so why not do it now? No, I wouldn't do that move. Easily Dango if you don't think they sign a striker, that's valid. JB says, morning my guy. I'm pretty sure I'm in the same boat as you with Gakpo/Moyes. Sorry if you went over it already. Sorry, I think the stream is cut out. Sorry, I think we're back. It is not worth bringing out a Liverpool asset to accommodate Arne Slot for me. I much prefer to chase him upside with David Moyes, and I'm going to move him on next game week anyway, so I don't mind being risky and backing triple Liverpool. Alisson to Pickford and go. Slot. Ooh. See, I'm more than happy to just have Moyes. Yeah, I would keep Alisson and go Moyes. I think I would. I would just chase the upside. Best Eze replacement. So it is a Cliver or a Dango. 65% of you so far do hit that like button and hit the poll. Sorry, hit one of the buttons in the poll. I'm not going to tell you which one. And let me know what you think. I'm leaning towards Dango. I want more funds. I think Justin Cliver is the better option. Now, if we quickly bring up Cliver, again, he's absolutely killed it in recent weeks, and it looks like he's the main man in this team. But you know, going into this fixture versus Liverpool, I would much prefer bench a Dango than a Cliver, and that's my thought process. 214 people in here. Let me know in chat what you're doing. What chip you playing? Which manager? And where are you in the world? George, could you do me a favour and quickly do a timeout there, please? Spurs should sign the Sassy and Badiashile for 80 million. Imagine. I'd actually, I'd have to just stop existing on planet Earth if we ever done that. Let me quickly go through my feed. Let me see what Spurs Twitter is saying. Axel Disasi has been approached by Tottenham and insisting for a new centre back. Disasi's already agreed person in terms of Villa. Up to the player. Late Riser, who is another manager I really, really respect. What's he doing? Sarr to Kluivert, Pedro to Wissa, Mikalenko for Robinson, Pickford for Rhea, Moyes in, -8. Assman active. Absolutely love to see it. This week is so hectic. That is brilliant. Oh my god. I die for tweets like this. Yeah. As you can imagine, plenty of managers will be hoping for what do I even say? RAM. RAM? I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Working in Cork but living in Waterford. Deadly 1974. I'm sure lots of managers will be hoping for this image that we've got in front of you. Okay. Choi, compose. What are you doing? Am I making those moves? I'm so nosy on Twitter. I want to see what everyone is doing. And not that I'm unsure. I'm fairly certain of what I want to do, but I just want to see what other Arnie Slatan. No, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Okay. Let me touch on Spurs real quick. Again, I hate doing it, and every week we rant about them because we're shocking. Quick little Spurs rant, shall we? I don't know how I feel about this fixture versus Liverpool. We always lose at Anfield. Always. Except that one time when we got really jammy and that decision got put against Diaz. But from all my time being a Spurs fan, we've never ever done well against Liverpool. I would say if I could choose, we have teams where we can beat our bogey team. For example, I would say City. In recent time, it's been United. We can do quite well against them. Another one of our teams where we do useless against is Chelsea. Two teams that we do terrible against, Liverpool and Chelsea. If it wasn't a cup game and we didn't have a 1-0 advantage going to Anfield, I would automatically write it off. But we do. And we also have the off chance that players like Destiny Udogie, VDV, Romero, Werner are potentially back for this fixture. Obviously that's massive for Spurs. And even the bookies have a 6% chance of Spurs actually progressing in the Carabao Cup, which is much higher than what I thought the Marcus would have done. So I don't think it's as black and white as Liverpool progressing is. As a fan, I will tell you, yes, Liverpool are going to beat Spurs automatically, but I actually think there's a bit more to it. And then again, it is the magic of the cup. Now, Spurs are absolutely useless, and if there's one team that has the bottle, I don't need to tell you guys, but again, some part of me is thinking there is the potential of Spurs actually causing an upset here, and a few of us would be looking towards Ange Postecoglou, assistant manager, and I would love that. Yeah, Liam, that's exactly the game I'm talking about. And yes, Werner coming back for us is probably worse, but having players available is never bad. And I'm going to go ahead and click this. Do I bring in Justin Kluivert? Okay, let me just look at Kluivert again. So 0.7, that would leave enough enough money in the bank to do Ange Postecoglou and Unai Emery. It closes the door on any 1.5 manager down the line, which I think I'm okay with. Let me look at some of the fixtures in game week 26. I imagine I'd like to use. Let me quickly bring up the Premier League table as well. I just want to see some of the fixtures in 26 and how the table might stand if there's an opportunity to use it on someone who will play a team 5 places above. When I look at this, okay, let's look at game week 26. What fixtures do we have? Ipswich versus Tottenham. What else we got? Leicester versus Brentford. Leicester versus Brentford. 5 places just about. Newcastle versus Forest. Newcastle, no. Southampton versus Brighton again. I don't love that. That is more than. Oh, no, you wouldn't go. You wouldn't go there either. West Ham versus Arsenal. Don't love that. Who else we got? Wolves versus Bournemouth. Ooh, low key. Wolves versus Bournemouth. Sounds so stupid when you're looking and trying to find gaps when Wolves haven't won a game in their last 5. It's probably more than the last 5, and Bournemouth haven't lost a game in their last 5. But these are the type of things you have to be looking at when you're looking at this chip. And like, imagine the upside in going for Wolves versus Bournemouth, even if they got a draw. There's definitely some upside to be had. Is it worth a transfer on moving on? Let's just say Unai Emery at the time, who do face, who is a, let's just say it is Unai Emery. I bring in 25 and I still have him. Then he will play Chelsea, Villa, Chelsea. There's only 2 places in the gap there, so not much upside, to be honest. Yeah, bringing in Cliver. I mean, I have more than enough money to do it. I just hate how late I'm bringing him in. But again, if they do sign a striker, I will have a lot more minutes, I would say, like guaranteed minutes. Now, Cliver is nailed for minutes again. He's been phenomenal this season. And it's been his, almost breakout season, if that's how you want to put it. Yeah, maybe he's a no-brainer. He's the one that couldn't fail. And really, really good fixtures. Let me put in, again, sorry guys, I'm planning on stream. It's probably not great to watch. Maybe some of you do like it, seeing me do my thing on stream, some of my thought process as I go through it. Let me just put in Justin Kluivert real quick. Let's see how that changes the landscape for me going forward. So if I have Kluivert in here, and let's just say most likely scenario is that we have Unai Emery and triple Villa. And then the next week, we, of course, would have one free transfer. Wait, shit, I done that wrong. Sorry, Kluivert here. 0.7 in the bank. That leaves us with 0.4 in the bank, and I'm looking to move on Gordon, of course, and that leaves me with 7.8. Yeah, Kluivert is on penalties, George, and that's why I think maybe it is a bit of a no-brainer to go Kluivert and listen to chat. You know what really upsets me? I'm 0.9 away from Mbeumo. That hurts, man. That really, really hurts. Hold on now. Am I looking at that right? So 2 free transfers in Pickford, Kluivert, and David Moyes. I need to reset this. Reset game week. Pickford. Kluivert. Again, sorry guys, I'm just a small bit confused. And Assman. So that would be David Moyes. Oh, I thought that counted as a transfer. That's why I was confused. So I still have 1 free transfer to work around with. Oh. And of course we would play Mykolenko instead of Gabriel, I believe. And next week we'd have 2 free transfers. So reset. Okay. Alright, I'm with it now, guys. Okay, I'm here. I'm there. I think Justin Kluivert is the play for me. Apologies for that. Start Semenyo or Hall? I'll start Semenyo all day. All out for slots, 3 free transfers. All Hall, Wood to Pickford, Mykolenko to Wissa. Mykolenko, Wissa, all Odegaard to Kepa, Bumo. What's the best? I'm torn. Price out of Hall, Bruno to Pickford, Mykolenko, Bumo by 0.1. Yusuf, I can't lie to you. That question was worded really difficultly and I can't answer it. I'm so sorry. First, the system manager is free, then it costs the transfer. Thank you, Robert. Would you do João Pedro to Wissa? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. Start two between Gabriel, Munoz and Greaves. I'm in the exact same place, Dinesh. And for me, I think it is Munoz. How many points does Vandenberg get this game week? I can't tell you because it could be 2. I think it's going to be 2. What's Postecoglou doing there? Thanks for answering my question, says Zach. No worries at all, my man. Okay, I'm going to make these moves. I've had enough of... Yeah, what is that Postecoglou doing there? David Moyes, get in my team. So 0.7 in the bank. Next week, I have enough money to do Ange Postecoglou in if there is an upset. If not, Unai Emery will come in for the double game week and I will have triple Villa. Make transfers. Rhea, Eze, out. Pickford, Kluivert, Moyes in. Looks good, guys. Confirm transfers. Confirm transfers and play assistant managership. I always freak out when I'm on this screen because I never want to click the wrong one. Anyway, that's that done. Finally, we're locked in. Now, the last question is whether or not I want to do Gabriel or Munoz. Guys, I think my team is finally starting to look good when you consider the fact that there's likely a double game week for Liverpool and Villa next week. I think it's really, really exciting. And the assistant managership is active. By the way, just Dad, if you're in chat, my dad is playing FPL, but just to tell him that you need to play the assistant manager chip, Dad. We talk about casuals playing the chip. Even you, Dad, need to play it. And if you can, play it on any slot or David Moyes. It doesn't matter who. I think it will work out either way. But yeah, if you're not going to take advice that I'm giving my dad, then I don't know what to tell you guys. Would you use Asman on Moyes or sell Diaz for Rodgers? I would just play it on Moyes. I don't like the idea of selling any of the Liverpool guys. I'll be honest, straight up. Again, I just want to bring up my team for this week again because it looks so good that I just want to see how it looks next week. Let me just bring Kluivert again. It keeps resetting because I keep clicking the wrong button. That's why it does that. And again, Pickford. Moyes. This is FPL.team, by the way, if anyone want to use this. Projecting 90 points. And then next week, 2 free transfers. And I would, of course, play Kluivert on penalties. Beautiful. And I would move it on to Unai Emery. Triple Villa. Triple Liverpool. Would I go as far as making a transfer? I don't think so. I think it's actually really well set up. One thing I could do is use that 7.8 on a Gordon and maybe bring in a Bumo, but that might be getting greedy. Imagine I could bring in a Bumo, try free up 0.1. What would I even do? I don't think that is possible. So I think it would just be Emery for me and roll. And then the next week, I could use that transfer. Next week, in Game Week 26, sorry, I can't speak. In Game Week 26, it is a small bit more difficult for me. I have to play, what's his name? Kluivert, of course. He's a really nice fixture. Whether or not it's worth benching Rodgers, I'm unsure. Triple Liverpool versus City, not ideal. Some might disagree. And of course, Emery with Chelsea, not ideal. So I think in 26, if I'm just looking a bit forward, again, sorry, I'm 2 weeks in advance when people don't even know what they're doing this week. By the way, just to remind you, please hit that like button for me. I really appreciate you for joining me. And I'm trying my best to make these streams as entertaining as possible. I hope you like seeing the thought process from a mid-manager myself. Currently sitting 325k in the world, but it's good to know I have the triple captaincy available. So if I have a good game week this week, good game week next week, we could be easily in the top 100k come game week 26. But yeah, what would I do in game week 26? I would for sure be looking to move on Emery to one of these managers in this row here of potentially Wolves, which sounds crazy on paper. One of Wolves, Tottenham, because I think Postecoglou could do very well in this Ipswich fixture. And I think, let's just say it is I can look at 0.1 in the bank rather than the extra money I would have with Unai Emery. What other transfer could I make? So at this point in game week 26, and this will go to all of you in chat. Again, sorry I'm so in the future, but game week 29 is just around the corner. A lot of us will have triple Liverpool if they double in 25 as well. A lot of us will have one of Watkins or maybe double with Rodgers. So that means you have 5 blanks going into game week 29. Let's say you have one of a Gordon or Isaac. That's 6 players that blank in 29. If you have 3 transfers only in the bank between now and then, you're going to have minimum 2 players blanking. Maybe 3. Even if you use all your transfers. So without taking hits, you're probably going to have to use the free hit unless you have a different strategy with wildcard. So I think free hit is the play in 29. Again, that's the lazy thing right now because I can't use my brain to think. But yeah, that makes the most sense for me. And by the way, how lovely does this look? Anyway, let me get back to my team. It looks so good. It looks so good. Get your questions in the chat. I'm going to quickly blow my nose. And as usual, the goal is 150 likes. Shaman says, hey, I'm from Waterford. Would you start Ahmed or João Pedro? For me, I would start probably Ahmed. Again, I don't like benching João Pedro though. Sorry guys, a bit stuffy this morning. Tiny Fungus says, hello Choi, just saw a report on Tottenham having interest in the Sassy. Thoughts? Absolutely rubbish. I want Fikayo Tomori if I'm being honest. It's really frustrating when Spurs do this, but it's always good that we have a second option if Tomori doesn't work out. And I just hope that he is the second option in comparison to Tomori. Do you think Diaz is a good option for the next 3 game weeks? Yes. Morning Choi, current dilemma is an Arsenal transfer worth for Everton asset for -4. No. Based on the off chance, if you don't need to use it for any of your managers, and the 20% chance that Arsenal double next week. CF says, I'm pretty much got the same defense and midfield. I got Isaac, Wood, and João Pedro up front. I'm trying to bring in Gakpo this game week. Long term and short term, who would you have? Who should I transfer out of 0.2 in the bank? Or have 2 free transfers in the bank and 0.0 in the bank. Sorry, can't speak. I wouldn't worry about bringing in Gakpo personally. I feel like Wood, Isaac, João Pedro is good. I feel like I would do the Isaac to Gakpo move if you were using it on any slot and you didn't have triple Liverpool already. Hello Choi, did you use your triple captain yet? No Nazir, I didn't. I still have my triple captain available and that's why I feel like I'm in a really good spot. When am I going to use it? It's going to be interesting. Tomori rejected us, says Spacine. Have I not seen this? I haven't seen Tomori rejecting us, unless I'm missing something. Them slots are gonna disappoint you, man. I really hope that using it on. I'm trying to find news on Tomori, by the way. Sorry. It's still not open to join TFC. He wants to stay at AC Milan. I didn't see that. I really didn't see that. Not the sassy, man. Not like this. No. Yeah, I don't know how I missed that. I think obviously we're on stream, so I didn't see the tweet from DiMarzio. Usually I'm so up to date with it. I can't lie, I'm kind of fuming because that means Axel Disasi is actually likely. Saying that, I wouldn't be surprised if a Chelsea boy rejected us. Chelsea guys are very fond of rejecting Tottenham, especially in the current state in 15th place. Fucking hell. You know what? In other news, the good news is that Romero and Van de Ven are almost back. That's the only other caveat I have for that. And again, that shouldn't mean that we shouldn't sign a really good centre half. I just mean it's the only thing I can try claw onto before I cry. Anyway, let me get back to my own team. Tomorrow news is that he doesn't want to come to Spurs. That's about it. My team is projected to get 90 points. And I actually think 90 points is about reasonable. Of what, 6? Couldn't you call that 6 fixtures? We basically look at Moyes as another player, except he's getting points in a different way, which is ridiculous. I actually think, you know what? For all the hate that we've given the assistant manager chip, it has given the game a bit of buzz. In other game weeks, we would have just all been tripled up on Liverpool and double Everton. But now we have an opportunity to go. It's after making a few different routes on whether you want to go a bit risky with David Moyes or if you want to hold on to Arne Slot. And if next week you want to transfer out a David Moyes to a Unai Emery or hold on to an Arne Slot. So it's made managers think in a different way, which is always great for the game. Maybe a small bit of credit needs to go for him. Now again, you could say on the flip side, all engaged managers are using their assistant managership, sure, but all different managers have different structure of teams, so we're all going to do things differently. Hey Choi, what's your thoughts on bringing in Kluivert and Moyes? I love that. That's exactly what I done, Connor. Would you start Robinson or Greaves? I would start Robinson. Are you going Moyes or Slot? Says Keane. I'm going Moyes. Adam Sousa, channel member, says, do you truly rate Dango? Is it a good rule of thumb to use your butt boy on butt boy, ass boy, if you have 2 Liverpool players and don't want any more? Good luck, man. Yeah, best of luck, Adam. I would say if I didn't have triple Liverpool, I would be using it on Arne Slot. By virtue of playing it safe, that would be the only reason, though. I'm more than happy to chase the upside. It's triple captain for me, says Tiny Fungus. Alex, best of luck. By the way, my camera, it keeps falling. I'm sorry, guys. But for me, I think there's so much upside with David Moyes and potentially, hopefully, one of Unai Emery / Ange Postecoglou next week. I would gain more points by if Liverpool beat Spurs. I am definitely free hitting in 29. I think my team is just not set up enough, and I don't have enough transfers. I would rather I would rather set my team up in a way where it looks good coming out with 30, or even whether or not I'm gonna wildcard or save transfers. I'm not sure yet, but I'd rather be a bit more aggressive, basically. Start Greaves or Gabriel? Gabriel for sure. Why not start Gabriel? I don't know. My nose has been really good in recent weeks. From a numbers point of view, even from clean sheets, you know, when he's not picking up the numbers, he's doing well clean sheets wise. United have looked decent, but not great. Gabriel, I just feel like City are going to score. I don't see a world in City don't score. Yeah, that's the reason. Again, it is probably a small bit. You know, everyone else would probably stack Gabriel. I think I'd rather try chase him upside with my nose. Do you rate Dango? Sorry, Adam, I completely missed your thinking. Dango, you know, he is good. It is just a small bit knee-jerky for me. I think the decision for going Kluivert is the fact he's on penalties. And if they do sign a striker, Kluivert is less likely to miss out on minutes in comparison to Dango. I got a tower this week before his hat-trick. That's crazy. Here's 0.20 and everyone's getting him. I benched him versus Forest. That's crazy. How are you planning on using those chips, Shai? So, assistant manager from game week 24 to 26. Free hit 29 if Villa also double in 25, which means they'd blank in 29. So assistant manager 24 to 26. Free hit 29. Potential wildcard in 30. Potential. Again, so much could change between now and then. It's just how I look at it. Triple captain in 33. Bench boost 36. Again, I can't tell you how 36 looks, so you know it would be wrong for me to try to tell you I'm bench boosting 36. But if there's some doubles in 36, it really depends how the fixtures land. And the reason for wildcarding in 30 is I could potentially set up for a really nice bench boost in 33 if I don't wildcard in 32. And I might be forced into playing the triple captaincy in a single game week. Now, one thing to note here is I'm just looking at this graphic from FPL team, and I just realised that there's a blank game week in 34 to come for teams like Liverpool, City, United, Spurs, Villa, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Everton. And what does that mean if I'm looking at my trip strategy? I suppose like that way, if I don't, it probably doesn't make sense to wildcard then, because you want a dead end into. You might want to hold the free hit for 34 if there's such a big blank. Again, I'm not even going to think about it right now. Right now, my eyes are on David Moyes somehow. Let me check how many likes we're on, by the way. Another great stream. Really enjoying it. And it's going to be a really fun game week. We are currently on 98 likes. Do me a favor, hit that like button. I'm trying to get to 150 likes as usual, and I appreciate you guys joining me. Let's do a little scroll on Twitter, shall we? I feel shy. Alisson, Pickford, Gabriel Colwell, Slot -4 hit, or Robinson to Greaves, Moyes no hit. Robinson to Greaves, no hit. Oh no, we can't do Robinson to Greaves in case of double. Alisson to Pickford, Gabriel to Colwell. What about Alisson to Pickford, Gabriel to Mikalenko, Slot -4? I like that, coach. FPL buddies to start one of Minoz and Nico Williams. Minoz. Why not free hit 34? Because most of the teams that double game week will be blank in 33, says Rukaf. Yeah, no, I never considered that. And yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind. I just mean if I have 6 players doubling in 25, let's say there is a double for Villa, I'm going to be struggling to get players for the blank in 29. So I really need to be reservative with my transfers from here on out. But yeah, definitely in a good place if I'm going triple Villa next week. Again, I want Spurs to progress in the cup though, so maybe I don't want Villa to double. Let me close that Clever and Dango poll. Sorry if I can't get back to all your questions. There's so many questions. Tiny Fungus says 100 like. Thank you, Tiny Fungus. Sartuan Sabier Minoz easily. Nasir says, Chai, what do you think about a -4 for Gakpo to Whistle and bring in Slot? You know what? I don't mind it. Again, I just would much prefer to hold on to Gakpo and bring in Moyes if that's a possibility. Pickle is locked in. What is she doing? Sells to Pickford to decide to go Fernandes to Mbuemo. And Salah captain. Love it. Assistant manager on Arnie Slot. You see what I mean? There's some really, really respectable managers doing Arnie Slot. And there's also some doing it on David Moyes. So, I think it's going to be fucking brilliant. You know what I mean? This is fun, like. There's a bit of variation. It's literally like two teams. How have you convinced me? How convinced are you about Gakpo minutes? I would say he gets minimum 300 minutes in four fixtures. Minimum. I want to say. It is hard to say though. I need to sneeze, by the way. Sorry, chat. Just a bit snotty. Hey, Try, best midfielder for Eze replacement for Everton. I would bring in none of them. If I had to choose one, it would be Decore, but I would stay away from all of those Everton midfielders personally. Liam Campbell says, would you play Moyes' assistant manager this week and then do Gakpo to Watkins and Moyes to Slot for free in game week 25? I suppose the answer is no. I wouldn't do that. I would much prefer to hold... I would much prefer to try move Moyes to one of Postecoglou or Unai Emery. Thank you, Crypto Munch. Assistant manager is wasted on Slot. I mean, I hope you're right. Chai, why is it that you're bringing in Kluivert to bench him? Because it's a single fixture versus Liverpool. Liverpool, arguably the best defence in the league. I've got Trent, and I don't see Kluivert getting much out of this Liverpool game, to be honest. So that's why. Saying that, I hope he does, because I have David Moyes instead of Arnie Slot, so I'll be more than happy if he does. You know what? I'm in this really weird position, I think, where it's almost like I've tripled Liverpool, but I don't want them to do well because I want Liverpool to do bad. You know what I mean? A lot of people will have double Liverpool, Actually, yeah, no. Let me make sense of this. So I've triple Liverpool, and I'm backing against Liverpool this week by going David Moyes. Some managers have double Liverpool, and they're going with Arne Slot, and they want Liverpool to do as well as possible. And the double Liverpool that they most likely have is Salah and Trent. So the only outcome I want is Gakpo to return and Liverpool to lose. This doesn't make sense. And I want Salah to blank because he'll be over 200% EO this week with a lot of people triple captain. So I want automatically Salah to blank. Backing against the best team in the league and hoping Everton do well while I own Pickford and Mikalenko. I mean, it's just silly, innit? But hey. When you put it like that, I mean, it is a bit mad, but that's just who we are. Might as well captain Gakpo again. Gakpo then. You know what I mean, live sneakers? Like, I might as well at this point. But nah, if it wasn't for the minutes, I'd be captaining Gakpo, I think. Imagine I see a red arrow this week. I actually think I would be distraught. Playing a chip and having 6 doublers, and I feel like my team is set up. I would be upset if I get a red arrow this week. I would say it is almost impossible for me to get a red arrow this week. Like, actually, I wouldn't go that far. Maybe I'm being dramatic. News from FPL Tony. Slot and Moyes both on the bench. Love that. Dylan Hudson says, hi, Chad. I think I'm doing triple captain 24, free hit 25, and save assistant manager until I can plan a table bonus attack later in the season. What do you think? Dylan, I think there's actually nothing wrong with holding on to the assistant managership, but the uncertainty with how well the fixtures have fallen for us, I feel like you almost have to take advantage of it. That's just me though. But yeah, if you do hold on to it, best of luck. Again, I'm hoping Salah blanks at this point because a lot of people would be triple capping them, but yeah. Not backing Spurs to reach the final. No Spurs or Fulham players. I am backing Spurs to reach the final because I'm a Spurs fan, and I'll happily bring in Spurs players next game week. Hey, should I stack Gabriel or Munoz? See, the issue actually with Spurs getting to the final is I'll want to bring in a Spurs asset. I'll want Ange Postecoglou, so that's automatically minimum 2 transfers for me. 2 transfers for me means that I have no transfers to start building my team towards blank game week 29, which means I'd have to free hit. I don't know. It needs more thought from me. Ahmed or Rodgers? Rodgers for me. Hat-trick in the Champions League. Can't look past that. Hello, Choi. Gabriel, Colwell, Robinson, start 1, bench 1, and Bruno, Kluivert, Rodgers. Bruno, Kluivert, and Rodgers. I would start Bruno and Rodgers. Gabriel, Colwell, Robinson, start 1. I would start Robinson. Live Sneaker says, hey, Choi, please help. Start 2 of Munoz, Gabriel, Greaves, Mbuemo, Ahmed, JP. I would start attackers. I would start Mbuemo and I would start Ahmed. Is it worth a free transfer to get Mikalenko this week? I have Pickford and Moyes as well. No. I would just hold on to it and see if you can get onto a Watkins next week. Choi, a -4 to get Enjoy for Solanke. I have no Everton, but I have Moyes. No, Anton, it's not worth a -4, but I don't know how you're in a situation where you've not got rid of Solanke. I would say you would have got rid of him last week or even this week before. Like, he would have been my priority transfer this week. I would say try get to a Watkins maybe next week for a hit. Again, it's tough to say. I need to see the structure of your team. Franok says, try bench 1 out of Gabriel, Davis, or Milenkovic. I would start Davies. And I would start Gabriel. High choice as Yusuf. I did Allison to Pickford, Bruno to Mbeumo, and Wood to Wissa for 3 free transfers. Any slot in Tots? Yes. Ilko says, hey Chai, is Raya going to play or is Raya to Pickford worth at -4? I don't know if Raya is going to play. I am fairly sure he was meant to be back for the City game. I'll probably risk playing him if it is for a hit. Are you planning on transferring Assman around in game week 25 and 26? Absolutely I am. I'm not holding on to Moyes for 25. Hey Chai, who would you start between Hoyson and Castagna? Also, rogue Trent Alexander-Arnold captaincy. I'm going to say no on the Trent captaincy by virtue of how good Salah's been this season. And it's, again, 2 decent fixtures. Hoisin and Castagna, start 1. Probably Hoisin. No, I'm chatting bollocks. Probably Castagna. Definitely Castagna. Who should I start between Hall, Gabriel, Munoz? Munoz for me. Thanks for the voice. No problem, Ilko. HI says Crypto Munch. -4 triple captain at the moment. Thinking to go -8 for Moyes instead. Thoughts. Final derby at Goodison is a fairy tale waiting to happen. I mean, it's almost too good to be true. David Moyes has been so good since he's come in. Got a massive haul last week versus Brighton. 2 home fixtures, Leicester, Liverpool. I mean, I'm backing him. I'm hoping he does. It's just, I think the more likely situation is that we don't get acting crazy from Moyes. Crazy that I'm going to be an Everton fan for a whole ass game week. It's going to be crazy. I'm selling Trent for slot. Tell me something comforting. I mean, there's nothing comforting about it. I don't think that's the right decision. Hey Choi, is your first choice Moyes or would you rather go slot? Wesley, I think if I hadn't had triple Liverpool, I would be going slot. Because how the fixtures fall and the likelihood of Liverpool progressing versus Spurs. And it saves you a transfer. But going Moyes, I'm backing against. There's so much more upside going Moyes and moving on to Unai Emery and hoping Liverpool don't progress. Should I bring in Kluivert or Rodgers? Rodgers, because he's going to double next week. Well, the likelihood is that he's going to double, 68% I think it is. Guessing slot upside is massive? I don't know about massive. There's way more upside for Moyes. I mean, obviously Liverpool, you know, there's no table bonus there. It's just really Moyes versus slot. Like, what do you see happen in this derby? I'm just hoping that Moyes can get some sort of result. That's it. Plan triple captain for Salah. Possible double game in 25. Fair. If Liverpool don't progress and Villa don't double either, no. That is true. That is true, yeah. Start Rodgers or Woodchai. Rodgers. Would you play Kirkes for Havertz? No, I'd play Havertz all day. Rodgers or Mateta? That's a tough one. I want to say Rodgers. Robinson or Iwobi? Robinson. People just don't understand the numbers? Absolutely. This is complicated. Okay, let's do a little scroll on Twitter. We want to make sure we don't miss anything. Historic game week. FPL Focal is locked in. He's doing Mbuemo, Tarkovsky, and Wissa with the assistant manager active. It's great to see so many people, you know, there's a bit of buzz in the community. So many transfers being used as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make my tweet. Let me quickly screenshot my team. Little tweet. Kittle says, morning Chai, do you think Gabriel Hall or Colwell to start? Out of those 3, probably Gabriel. Sorry, no. Out of those 3, probably Colwell. Don't love it though. Where am I? So I'm currently 325k with all my chips. Now, this first chip I'm using with Assistant Manager. Let me do a little graph sign because I know I'm on the way up, guys. I know I'm seeing a green this week. I'm positive of it. I'll be so surprised if I come back here next week on a red. I'll be so disappointed, I can't lie. Rhea 2. Playing Mbuemo or João Pedro? I'll be playing Mbuemo without a shadow of a doubt. Pickford. We've got, what's his name? Eze to Kluivert. Moise in. AM Moise. AM Skengdo. So weird. AM David Moyes. Let me do a little. Is there a little captaincy hat? No cap. I need a chief. Is there a chief hat? Sheriff. How do I spell sheriff? I can't spell. I need a hat. Some sort of hat. Yeah, this is the one. Cowboy hat. Okay. Assistant manager. Is it? Man, there's so much to this. And Salah captain, of course. There you go, king emoji. You know what's up with when Salah's getting put in the tweet. By the way, I hope you love the thought process. Pilot emoji. Let me see what the pilot emoji is. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Alex. That's what I'm saying. Love that. Love that. Perfect. Perfect. HR, do you think start Hall, Gabby, or Colwell? Kittle, I'd be starting Colwell. Alright, I'm fairly sure that's me locked in. There's my team. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Let's post. Let's post. Let me see. Atten in my replies. Atten on Liverpool. Who is the early kickoff today? I'm so carried away with the fixtures. It is Forest versus Brighton. Okay. And let me quickly run through Twitter real quick. I want to make sure we miss nothing, guys. And also we'll see if we get anything on Tottenham before the deadline. 7 minutes until the deadline, lads. I hope you've enjoyed another great stream. I don't know how many likes we're on, but get us to 150 likes. I appreciate it, lads. It's great to see a lot of people engaging in the chat as usual. Start Greaves or Gabriel. Rater says, good luck, Chai. Come on, you Spurs in the cup. Thank you. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely. Come on, David Moyes, if anything, though. I'm an Everton fan for a game week. FPL up the Toffees, who is, of course, Everton fan. He's gone Pickford, Ndiaye, and Moyes. Triple up on the Everton boys. I never thought there'd be a game week where we're tripling up on on Everton. It's mad to think about. Interesting. Gianni has a very, very similar team to myself. It's actually a decent team. We'll do one little scroll again, and then we'll get back to my team. Liam Walsh says, what's up? Hope you're well. Oh no, Moyes, but no Everton asset sucks. 2-win with James Garner getting max bonuses best. He never fails to disappoint. Big Andy Martin, legend. Okay, get back to my team. 5 minutes until the deadline. Get your questions in. There's my team. I love it. I love my team. Decent bench as well. You know what? I wonder, is there any thought in the back of my mind to bench boost with no goalkeeper? I suppose kinda. Not really. Greaves versus Southampton is never ideal. I beg for your help before the deadline. Raya for a -4, Pickford or no. Moyes or Gakpo out for a -4 for Slot. I would do the -4 for Pickford. Hi, I just woke up and see the double game with chaos going for assistant manager Slot. Less of a headache for the weekends. Absolutely. That's, if I hadn't a clue, if I just woke up right now, I would just be putting the assistant manager on Slot and not worrying about it. Hi, Chai, says Roger McSweeney. Long-term listener, first-time Everton fan. Yeah, good to have you, Roger. Me too, as usual. Sir Castagna, Guardiola or Gabriel, says Tiny Fungus. I would be starting Guardiola, Tiny Fungus, and hoping for something. Again, those three aren't great this week. I probably expect all of them to concede. Yo, another Moyes user. Absolutely. There's a good few of us on the Twitter space. It's interesting to see people going against each other. I love to see it. Start Mateta or Tara. I would be starting Mateta. Start Flecken or Sells. Flecken for the save points. I think Brighton will score versus Forest. Start Rodgers or Wood. I would start Rodgers. He's on fire, man. Odegaard or Rodgers. And start 2 out of Colwell, Hall, and Minoz. I would be starting Odegaard. Big game. I think I'd be starting Odegaard. And 2 out of Colwell, Hall, and Minoz. I would go Colwell and Minoz. Start Kluivert or Sarr. That's tough. I think he'd go Kluivert for the form. Bench 1 of Ahmed, Martinelli, Mateta. I would bench Martinelli. Triple captain Salah, what are your thoughts? I mean, Sebastian, if you're more than happy to take a red this week and the next week and the next week, sure. You just have to affirm it that you will get a red arrow for the next 3 weeks, I think. Good to see everyone having diverse teams, whether it's a system manager or triple cap. Tiny Fungus, absolutely. That's all I ask for in FPL, regardless of how good I'm doing. I never ever want there to be a template or people having similar teams. For example, I'm different again. I've got Isaac. I've got no Isaac, sorry. I've got triple Liverpool and I've gone David Moyes. I've got double Villa in case they progress, or if Liverpool progress in the cup. And of course, I've got Mikalenko and Pickford and Noah Ndiaye. And I'm benching Gabriel and Kluivert instead of Minoz. So there's a lot of variation this week. And a lot of people will be seeing red arrows, and I just hope I'm not one of them. I can't see myself getting a red arrow. I'll be so shocked. And the same with next week. My team is so well set up. So yeah, all we ask for is a bit of variation. And on that note, let me just quickly scroll on Twitter to see if we get any team news about anything. Give me absolutely anything. Do like the stream, by the way. 180 you in here. Do me a favor. The goal is 150. If we're already there, try shoot over 200. Again, I really do appreciate you guys joining me. I know I say it every single stream, lads. I'm just gonna go to the full webcam, but we're here every single week. Again, my rank doesn't reflect some of my decisions, in my opinion. I feel like I've been making decent moves every single week, and I'm trying my best as a manager. I feel like some of the moves I've been making have been right for my team. They just haven't quite went my way, and that is FPL sometimes. We're currently 325k in the world, and I think this will be a massive week for us with the assistant managership. It is a big 3 game weeks, but I also have the triple captaincy. So if I can half my rank this week, maybe get 150k, you know, that triple captaincy would shoot me into the top 100k easily, I'd like to think. So going into, by the way, 1 minute until the deadline, do get locked in. But going into the game week with a nice plan for the next 3 game weeks. And then as long as I do my chip strategy right, I imagine I'll be on minimum 5-digit rank come the end of the season. Whether that's 10k or maybe 90k, I don't know. I'm hoping obviously it's going to be a top 10k finish. That's what we always strive to shoot for. But you never know. The season has been a difficult one for myself, but again, I've been enjoying it as usual, and you guys are consistently in chat with me, so I really appreciate all you guys being in here regardless of my rank. And again, it's great to see you guys are in here for me, and not just my strategy or how well I'm doing in FPL. Of course, last season the majority of you would have been in here because how well I was doing, but now we're not doing so well, and we still have a good audience. So best of luck this game week, everyone. I appreciate you joining me, and we're all locked in, ready to go for game week 24. Again, we will be back for game week 25 again, a bit of a longer week this week, and we'll also see in about 5 days what will happen in the cup versus Spurs and Liverpool, and whether or not Arsenal progress versus Newcastle. Again, just to recap, if Liverpool progress, Spurs will not have a double game week, and Liverpool will double with Villa. And if Spurs progress, then Spurs will have a double, and so will Fulham. If Arsenal progress in game week 24 in the cup, I don't know why I said game week 24. If Arsenal progress in the cup versus Newcastle and turn over that 2-0 deficit, they will double with Chelsea in game week 25. And if Newcastle beat Arsenal and progress, there will be no double for Newcastle or Arsenal, but there will be a blank in 29 for Newcastle. So again, do hit that like button before you leave the stream. Best of luck this game week, and thank you for joining me, and I, as usual, will see you in the next.